So hello, welcome to another video. So this is going to be part of my football coaching series that I've been doing, and I've got a couple more videos to go out, and that's been set up. But today I'm going to talk about effective play, taking on a new team in the league. Well, so what is effective play? It's basically passing the ball, pushing the ball forward, that can lead to a goal. That is effective play. It can also be gaining possession. It can also be gaining advantage. That's effective play. Anything that could work towards a goal is basically effective play. Now, how do you do effective play in terms of when there's a new team? Well, a lot of clubs, what they will do, they will go and see that team play first before their own game. And if it's a team that have just gone up and you've never played against them before, then it's good to have scouts out there watching them, so you get a rough idea of what team they will pick, because that's what you do. You kind of, when you pick a team, you base it on whether you need to attack more or defend more. And so, it all depends on how they've set up, but you should still always play your own game. But, if they are known to get into wider spaces, for example, then you need to close in that space so they can't. That's effective play. It's anything that works towards a goal. So good passing movement, making sure you keep hold of the ball as long as possible, keep it in the opposition's own half. That is all effective play. It's basically anything that will lead to a goal. So that is, and is a key ingredient when it comes to football. Now, obviously when you're doing kids football, you can't often go and see the other teams play. But at a youth level, it's more about the kids finding their feet in the game and just enjoying it and learning, at that age. But it also teaches them, how to play effectively as well at that young age. It's still good to get them to know about passing, sharing the ball, all having a shot on goal, all being part of, having a chance to play on the field as well as other players. So you still could do effective play, but it's not so much set in stone. It's really them to get used to playing regular football. So what do you need to do if you're a new manager? Why not have an assistant manager who can go and watch the team? Obviously, if it clashes with your own match, then you can't, but you can still have scouts who can observe that side. So, well, they're really tough in this area. They may be more of an attacking team, or may have more of a running team, even at kids level. When my brother used to play football, there used to be about 4 or 5 different games playing at the same time. So it's not always possible, but they'll often still be in a different league compared to your team. And it's all about finding their feet at first, getting confident on the ball, making them not fear getting tackled, how to fight back in terms of possession, taking players on. So that's all effective play, and with that comes effective communication. You have to, when at kids level, avoid doing football talk, because it can confuse them. It can as they get older, obviously, the more detailed you can be. But all you're going to do is make it brief and basic when at kids level, so they don't get too overwhelmed by playing football. And it's more about what they can get out of it, learning from it at that age. And then when it comes to being a teenager and they start to want to get into professional football, then that's when they have to work a lot harder. They often will have to do trials in order to see if it's for them. They may have to try 6 or 7 clubs to find the one that really works for them. For example, Frank Lampard, when he played for West Ham, he was good, but he wasn't as good as what he was when he went to Chelsea. and that was one of the best moves he ever made, because he was scoring goals at the hat, he was creating goals, he was someone who was a regular feature in the Chelsea team, because that was his stage. He found his team that he could play fantastic football with, and it does make a difference when you've got other good players around you, you know, because if you don't work together as a team, then there's no point playing as a team, and that's again effective play, team building, team working. So when you run a football team, you know, don't make it too complicated, but do a lot of team building work to create effective play, and that's how you can go against a team that you've never seen before. And you know, that's what scouts are for. Scouts are not just looking for next talented players. Can't lose my voice now. Next talented players is also about, you know, getting to know other teams in the league. So because you may have to switch the formation, they may have like a top player in their team that needs to be man marked or watched carefully, and so it's all about effective football at the end of the day, where their skills and their talent will lead to potential goals. So, and that's it in a nutshell. I'm keeping this video short and brief because I don't want to do an hour's worth of videos, but I hope that these are helping you. You are getting into football, then well done. Keep doing your qualifications. I want to continue. I want to do a lot of work in terms of the mind when it comes to football, and that's something I really like to do in terms of working for like mind and that, because I'm going to be doing some courses hopefully to help with that. And then I would like to then start doing more of my, either do a dancing teaching qualification or something in that lines, you know, something, because I've also grew up into dance, but also still want to be involved in football if I can, because I would like to kind of work psychologically with players now, about getting into, that's the kind of thing I'm into now. It's all about getting to the right mindset, you know, what really goes through a player's head when they get defeated, you know, how do they handle the pressure when it comes to being a £50 million player, you know, with that comes responsibility and can overwhelm a player. So for me, and again with all sports, you know, it can become overwhelming, and what I would like to work on is the mind set of a footballer. So, and basically, if you want to get effective play, have your players prepare themselves. So even if it's like listening to some music before they have to get changed, just have a kick about with the ball for 5 minutes. It's just something that will settle the mind, because footballers do still get nervous. They're only human, and so it's important that they are in the right mindset. And the same with if my son Henry ever wanted to be the football team, I would always like to support him and give him tips and advice, but also find his own path, you know, his own way of learning football. You know, it shouldn't be forced upon a child. If they want to take part and want to play in football, then they're fantastic, but never force them into it, because they can easily be a bit like overwhelmed and scared. It's important that they blend in rather than be, you know, someone who's not played football before, you know. And he was supposed to have done a sports club this week, but I think I don't know why he didn't really get the benefit out of it. I think it's because, you know, when he's at school and he plays football, he's normally with another teacher. So I would, you know, in that respect, ask if they could do more team sort of PE based lessons, because I think he would benefit from that so much. And that is effective, you know, teaching. And with effective teaching comes effective coaching, effective play, you know. And so it is important. And football, you know, is a brilliant way to get kids talking. You know, it's good for communication. It's good for their bone structure. their well-being in terms of mind, and it's just a really good thing too. And I always say, I did a video yesterday about truth about parenting, about how kids having a hobby. I always had a hobby as a kid, and it was one of the best things I ever did, you know. And so it's good if they are into football and they really want to get into a team. Yes, make that happen. They will often have to do like a trial, even at kids level, just to see if they really do want to participate in matches, which are still kind of within the FA league tables, even at kids level. And if they get a bit shy at first, if they're not, like, I had one kid on my team called David, and he was fine when he came to training. He was fine. When he came to play matches, he wasn't really keen. He felt a bit too fearful about playing football. So I just said to the mum, well, he can still come to training. We'll still register him as a player, and then when he's ready to, then we'll put, if he decides that he wants to have about 5 minutes on the pitch, then I'll give it. Playing with your friends at school is very different to playing in matches outside of school, if that makes sense, because they're not always going to be the kids that they know. So it is good to have a balance of different type of players as a child, but having them work together. And they may take, if you get offered to do a friendly, for example, take up on it. Because there's one thing that I found really helpful is when I could have them play a friendly match as well as the league games. And I felt that they got so much out of that, because it's kind of like rehearsing for when they really have to play matches, and that's where effective play comes in. My team was very organised, and I was told that they were too young to know about where they're supposed to be in the field. But actually, the team that I coached, they were like 35 players in the kids' body. I mean, there was one kid who was very good at kicking the ball, taking the free kick, and he was only 7 years old. I mean, that is a natural ability. Some kids have it, some kids don't. I don't believe in dropping players at a younger age, but when it comes to, say, when about 12 years old, then it's time to sit back and talk to them. So, right, do you really want to pursue this as a career? This is what you need to work on. This is what we need to build on, and see if we can improve your play. But if they get too overwhelmed by that, and if you find that actually they won't, not that they're not good enough, but it's about, when it comes to like under 12, they do have to have some sort of level of skill in order to go further in the game. So that's when you do have to decide whether they should be continue on as playing for the club, or they should perhaps join an academy rather than being a football club for a while. But it's all about, effective play is basically anything that can lead up to a goal, and you should never stop the kids from scoring, because it boosts their energy that you wouldn't believe when you do win. Yes, it is about taking part partly, but not really, because it's good to see kids win football, because that is how it works. You still want to have that element of wanting to win. I mean, that's just natural. So, and that shouldn't be taken away from kids wanting to enjoy their football, because that's the whole point. If they enjoy it, they'll keep coming. If they don't enjoy it, they won't. And that's where effective play and effective communication, effective coaching can really do wonders to a player, and for you as a coach as well. So anyway, so I hope you're finding these videos really helpful. I wish you good luck if you are ever thinking about becoming a football coach, and I hope that I hope with lockdown that we can continue with kids football as well as older, as well as professional football. And just if you enjoy it, your players will enjoy it. And it's all about creating scenarios, basically, of how they could get a goal, where they need to be when it comes to defending, where they need to be in terms of attack, and they will get to know eventually. And when it's kids, I will do it bit by bit. So have them do some passing one session, have them do some defending work, have them to do more attacking work, you know. Just break it up into parts, and the same with first team football as well. Because the main thing you need to work on is, and that first thing is fitness. If a player isn't fully fit, then there's no point in going out in that field, because they won't play at the top of their game. So, you know, you need to be, when it comes to first team football, they have to be an outstanding player in order to be on that pitch, because it is all about gaining points and getting results. And the only way you can do that is by having good quality first team football players, but that can do effective play with no problem. So, anyway, something's going on. Anyway, so, and that's it for this video. I really wish you well, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.